Okay, the question of the day is, what do I mean when I say chronic pain is an epidemic of fear? So, let's dial way back and pull Dr. Sarno's energy from the universe and talk about why we experience pain. Now, I'm not talking about pain because you bang your leg or you drop a hammer on your toe or you are skiing and you rip your ACL. I'm not talking about pain like that. Human beings experience pain. We experience pain when our soft body that does not have an exoskeleton is injured. We experience pain when we pull a muscle, when we overexert ourselves. You know, sometimes people say, "Oh, it was hurting me, but it was good pain because, you know, I skied all day and then my legs were sore." There's all sorts of ways to experience pain. There's also pain that doesn't have an association with a physical injury, like a headache or you know, body pains, body aches and pains. Maybe sometimes you have a virus. Okay, so there's lots of ways a human being experiences pain. When I say chronic pain is an epidemic of fear, I don't mean any pain is an epidemic of fear. And oftentimes, my work, our work, the work of mind-body clinicians is criticized because people say, "Oh, so what you're telling me, like, you can cure everything with mind-body work, you know, if I drop a rock on my foot, you know," and I always like to say, there is no cure for human pain. There is a cure for chronic pain because chronic pain is an epidemic of fear, and without the fear, there's no way for the pain to remain chronic. So, the reason I say that this is the explanation of all of TMS is because when we have repressed emotions, when we have ugly, toxic experiences that we have not known how to let safely rise and to be admitted into the consciousness of our being, our body is in a state of heightened fight or flight all the time. The repressed emotions are seen by our mind-body system, by our nervous system, and our protective brain as a predator. So back in primitive times, with early man, if there were a woolly mammoth and it were in my peripheral view and I knew that perhaps I could be killed, my nervous system would go into effect. As we all know, cortisol would rise, adrenaline would rise, and I would have the energy to escape. And I would be able to escape for a short period of time until I could find safety, and that would help the human species survive. So there's nothing more important than safety. If I can't feel appropriate fear and my body can't respond physically to the appropriate fear response, I can't preserve my life. And without preserving life, there is nothing. So there's nothing more important than our primitive, our brainstem, the reptilian brain that keeps this thing alive and functioning. Great. The problem is that woolly mammoths may have been an occasional threat for early man, but modern society, with our complex problems and our complex evolution of being able to feel such layers of the things that have happened to us in our lives and our interpersonal relationships and our stresses and our worries, is an ongoing, constant assault. These feelings that out of necessity we repress because we have to get on with life and take care of our responsibilities, become, according to our mind-body system, a predator that is always in our peripheral view. We are in a constant state of fear, whether we feel it or not, and we are in a constant state of heightened cortisol and heightened fight or flight, and our current 2018 systems do not know what to do with that amount of danger. We are in danger. When your boss comes into your office and says, "Hey, I need to talk to you," your body, you're perceiving yourself as in danger. When you see your mother and you have had years of repressing feelings of anger and rage and sadness and fear and resentment toward this person that you're supposed to love, that you do love. But, stuff has gone down and you have been hurt. Just seeing her puts your system into a state of panic. Now, if we were to be able to just feel that panic, to let it flow through us the way we breathe in and out, we wouldn't need chronic pain. Chronic pain wouldn't be part of our survival mechanism. But what happens here is we are triggered by something, whether it's our own personality and always feeling like we're never good enough, or whether it's interpersonal relationships, your mom, your dad, your kids, your boss, your best friend, your spouse, or whether it's the past, something reminding you of high school, or actually when you're high school, something that's really specific happens to me. My high school age kids are going through something that is just bringing me right back to being 15, and I'm having all these visceral reactions to having to parent through that. There's so many triggers that bring us into a state of heightened fight or flight, of heightened cortisol. Now, what happens in those situations is our mind-body system sees a predator, the repressed feelings, okay? They begin to rise. They knock on the door of consciousness and say, hey, you can't just hang out with your mom. You have too many feelings about this. And your system serves to protect you. You cannot feel those feelings. Those feelings are a predator. Okay, so how are you going to escape? The figurative way to escape here is something to focus on. Okay, so you're with the mom. You feel all these triggers. Something starts to rise. You don't quite even know what it is. This is all happening behind the scenes. This is unconscious programming. And all of a sudden, I have such a migraine. Oh, Mom, I have such a migraine. I'm really sorry. I can't even talk to you right now. In fact, I can't be here. I need to go home and lay down. Now, you might say, okay, well, that makes sense. But 2 weeks with that migraine, a year with that migraine disorder, 3 years when now you're being diagnosed with new daily persistent headache, migraine disorders. There's another one that's a really complicated word that people are always general neuralgia. Sorry, excuse me. I am not a medical doctor, but I do hear that one a lot, and I've had patients who that's among their diagnoses. That becomes a thing where your life is worse off because you are constantly struggling in that survival mechanism. What I am saying to you, even though sometimes even as I say it out loud, it's hard for me to believe that it's true, but I practice it every day, and for years and years have seen people miraculously recover from these chronic conditions that are fueled by fear, is by utilizing JournalSpeak. JournalSpeak is a vehicle. It is a way to journal, and it is a way to speak to yourself that helps you understand how to bring these very natural human emotions to the surface and allow you to know them. So you might think it's crazy that your migraine disorder could be directly related to things that you don't want to feel about your mother. You might say, no, my migraine disorder requires an MRI and a CAT scan and a medication regimen. And I say, I've seen a lot of people do all those things and not get rid of their migraine disorder. How about try this? How about you sit with the methods? I can't go through it all right now, but you guys, if most people who are listening at this point have read my book or watched my Healing Yourself series or taken my course, all of which will teach you how to do this for yourself. And you sit with your JournalSpeak. And you remember that time in 8th grade and what your mom did. And you remember that time with your mom and dad and that horrible fight or the addiction or the abuse or all the resentment you carried when you were a kid, even though now as an adult you know she was doing the best she could. And you let it come. And privately, by yourself, not with her, you let it rise and you cry or you scream or you reckon with the reality. We all have this. This is life. You don't get by without having these repressed feelings. If you felt everything all the time, you would not be able to handle life. Everybody represses. We repress out of necessity. But now it's killing you. So you let those feelings rise. You sit with them. You're gentle to yourself. Once they rise and you cry and you scream it out and you realize, man, I love my mom. I get it. I understand her now. Or maybe I'll never forgive her, but at least now I can be kind to that little girl who was me, who suffered. You know, everyone has a different experience, and not everyone is going to fit into this box, but I promise you can find yourself somewhere. The feelings rise. Excuse me, my thing is dinging. Ignore. The feelings rise, and next time you see her, you don't get a headache. Why? Because your body isn't using so much energy to push down those feelings in order to be with her, in order to simply be kind to her. You have to repress so much that your body goes into such a fear-driven state of fight or flight that it is required that you have a malady that keeps you from having to deal with that situation. And I promise you, I have watched this happen for years and years and years in private practice, that people who come and crawl through my door from wheelchairs, from hospitals, from different disorders of the body that you couldn't even imagine the variety. Gastrointestinal, skin disorders, migraine disorders, pain all over the body, fibromyalgia, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, foot pain. And they do this work, and they relieve themselves of the predator, of the repressed emotions, and their life that is being fueled by fear, and their symptoms leave. And they are amazing. I have clients at the top of their careers. I have clients who are athletes. They are running marathons. They're taking care of their children. They're traveling the world. These are people that were bedridden. I can offer that to you if you can just press the pause button long enough to understand that chronic pain is hurting. It's hurting. It's real. It's not in your head. It's in your body. It's real. But it is fueled by fear. It is necessitated by repressed emotions. And it is possible to let all of that go if you learn how to properly feel your innermost, deepest feelings, and I can teach you how to do that. I invite you to visit my website, thecureforchronicpain.com, my course. I've been getting amazing reviews of people that go through this course and are truly, truly better. I have a book, The Meaning of Truth. I'm working on my second book, JOURNALSPEAK. I have a lot of exciting things happening right now. Hopefully soon you'll be hearing my name a lot more. So anyway, I hope I did a good enough job. I know this is a flawed video, but I don't have time to record it again. So I hope you got something out of it. And my teenagers are about to come home from the first level. We got the high schoolers, the middle schoolers, and then the 10-year-old. The high schoolers are going to walk through the door any minute, and the dog's going to bark. So let me say goodbye to you right now. I love you. I believe in you. And I hope this inspires you to do this for yourself. Okay.